Hello and welcome. Today we will study Amalkanti, a poem in Bengali by Nirendranath Chakravarty. This is originally a Bengali poem, but it's been translated into English by Sujit Mukherjee and Meenakshi Mukherjee. This is the picture of the poet Nirendranath Chakravarty. Now, before reading the poem, let me just tell you a little bit about Nirendranath Chakravarty as a poet. He's a very important literary figure in Bangla literature. He's written many poems, novels, and numerous essays in this language, and he is especially known for writing children's literature, many stories, and even translations. Among the many things that he wrote were also translations of the comic Tintin into Bengali, and he also wrote a book of teaching poetic form and meter to budding Bengali poets. So he is clearly a very influential Bengali poet. He won the Sahitya Academy Award in 1974 and also the Pongo Bibhushan Award in 2017. His poetry is easy in its language, but the images that he's built through various poems are also at the same time very profound and easy to resonate with. And I'll give you an example of another poem of his, which is about a naked emperor. Now, this is clearly about that idiom that we know of an emperor being naked, and the funny thing being that nobody is able to tell him about the king's reality. So he tells this tale in a very funny manner, and it is also profound because we get to know so much about the way our society functions and the double standards that we have in our society. So through such poems, Nirendranath Chakravarty is not only able to engage us with popular images, easy to understand images, but also tells us something profound about our society and the life that we lead in a modern setting. The poem that we cover today, Amalkanti, is also to a great extent about this kind of a dichotomy, about human values and the harsh realities of society. Nirendranath Chakravarty passed away in 2018, and he was 94 years old when he passed away. And he is very fondly remembered by many Bengali readers and even outside that circle. I will attach some of his the links of some of his other poems with the description. Now let me tell you about the poem Amalkanti. Coming to Amalkanti, Amalkanti is a poem that talks about a person that the poet has known since childhood. Let me first read the poem and then we'll discuss. Amalkanti is a friend of mine. We were together at school. He often came late to class and never knew his lessons. When asked to conjugate a verb, he looked out of the window in such puzzlement that we all felt sorry for him. Some of us wanted to be teachers, some doctors, some lawyers. Amalkanti didn't want to be any of these. He wanted to be sunlight, the timid sunlight of late afternoon when it stops raining and the crows call again. The sunlight that clings like a smile to the leaves of the jam and jamrul. Some of us have become teachers, some doctors, some lawyers. Amalkanti couldn't become sunlight. He works in a poorly lit room for a printer. He drops in now and then to see me, chats about this and that over a cup of tea, then gets up to go. I see him off at the door. The one among us who's a teacher could easily have become a doctor. If the one who'd wanted to be a doctor had become a lawyer, it wouldn't have made much difference to him. All of us got more or less what we wanted, all except Amalkanti, who used to think so much about sunlight that he wanted to become sunlight. Now clearly Amalkanti is a character who comes across as being extremely unique and somebody who is not like anybody else, who does not want to be a part of the humdrum of life, but sadly, the society does not let him be the way he wants to. So it's the society that actually fails a person like Amalkanti. Let me go over it once again to talk about a little bit about how the poet chooses to describe Amalkanti. He says that Amalkanti is just a slow learner. He's not interested in what everybody else is doing. He's a unique person. He does not want to learn what other people are learning. And in such a way, people actually feel sorry for him. So we know that the poet does not want to make fun of him. In fact, the poet wants to understand Amalkanti. And he chooses not to want the normal things that are wanted by everybody else. He wants to be sunlight. And the poet also says that he's a timid person. He's probably a kind person who just wants to lead a slow, simple life. But it's unfortunate that he's not able to do that, and it's ironic that he wanted to be sunlight, which is supposed to be bright um, and also uplifting, but he has to lead a life in a dingy, dark room working for a printer. So society does not do justice to people like Amalkanti. It does not let people like Amalkanti survive in the way they would want to. Amalkanti did not fit in the norm. That was the only thing that's different about him. He's just not wanting to be like everybody else. People often follow the herd, wanting to be either a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer. And all these needs and requirements are for our desires to be a part of the society. Amalkanti was simply different from the people around him. He is therefore unfortunate that people like him would not be able to earn a decent living for himself. The society fails people like him, and it isn't as if the author is making fun of Amalkanti. The poem is often misunderstood. People assume that Amalkanti is just a lazy man with no ambition, but the poet does not project him as a lazy man. He's someone who wants to be sunlight, and it's not the kind of sunlight that scorches the earth or brightens the world also, but a soft sunlight that exists without anyone noticing it. So the timid sunlight of a late afternoon when it stops raining, that beautiful light sunlight, the sunlight that clings like a smile to the leaves of jam and jamrul. It is therefore ironic that Amalkanti has to work in a dimly lit room, and this is a man who could have had a better life. But life does not give him too many opportunities. Society does not give him too many opportunities. He has to be a part of the humdrum if he wants to have an affluent lifestyle. And that's the sad but the ultimate reality of life. So in a way, Nirendranath Chakravarty is offering a commentary on society, but he's also telling us the truth that this is the sad reality of life. And we each in our lives, we may know a person who chooses not to be aggressively ambitious like Amalkanti, who simply wants to lead a slow-paced life. But it's up to us to see, whether those lives are possible at all or no. So it's a profound little poem. It's a very easy to resonate with poem. I hope you like the poem. I'll see you again next time. Thank you.